Okay, welcome to Game 5 of my ladder-up match against MochaMoko. I won the last 3 in a row after losing the first one. So I'm on match point here, essentially. All I need to do is get a tie, and I'll win the match. Obviously, we play 6 games in a ladder-up match, but I'm in a pretty good position here. They cannot take a tie, so if I have the point where I can put them in a tie position, I can try to get that going. So this kingdom here that I will pull up, stuff going on. I'm going through that so people who don't necessarily know all the cards or have subscription to the service can see what they all do. I don't need to stay on it because if you're watching this video, you can pause. So with wall, you want to trash. How would one trash on this kingdom? I'm not sure. Moko commenting about last game, it must have been stupid of me to take the province when I did. Yeah, I thought they took a little bit early. I don't think they could win, though. I think I take the same line as I take, and I'm just at close to 50% VP, and I'm cycling through. I think I was far enough ahead at that point that it didn't matter much, but I could believe that if they had one more turn, they could... Yeah, I think I was pretty close to 50%. 50% VP, even without that. I'm never quite sure how to respond to people in match. I don't want to necessarily give them strategy tips that they can use to beat me. I don't think that one's going to come up in a game with wall in it. But I think they played decently, and just the rebuild strategy was the way to go on that kingdom. Maybe a perfectly executed engine with good draws could get there, but I felt pretty good about the way I played it and how well I did. I also stopped contesting the flag at some point, which helps them. So they open with a plaza. Yeah, plaza seems reasonable. So you do have some alternate VP. Underneath the encampments are these plunders. I don't know how we're ever going to get to those. And Conquest gains you cards, but also gains you a VP. So you can kind of say it's okay to do Conquests. And I could believe that you build some deck that just gets Conquests. And then... But if you only Conquest once, it's VP neutral. So you Conquest when you hit 6, and otherwise you... like pass turn. That feels terrible. I think it's still worthwhile to get a warehouse to cycle through. I just don't know what one is doing in this kingdom. I think encampments early on are fine because you return those and those can accelerate your deck. So I'm going to get an encampment here. Probably going to end up triggering a shuffle here with a warehouse, which I'm okay with. The encampment will help that. So, I mean, I think, as painful as that sounds, I think I'm going to go towards this deck where I buy Conquest or nothing. Maybe I buy a Conquest or, I think a lab is safely better than nothing most of the time. Draw here, discard, and I will get another encampment. Yeah, try to get up to 5 and get labs, or 6 and get conquests, and on 4 consider even like passing turn. So this is interesting. I'm opening up the plunders. I'm not actually opening up the plunders here. I'll get myself the lab now. I'm at this point where my warehouse is going to cause me to miss every shuffle, which I guess I'm just going to have to be okay with. Not much else that I can do. Don't discard, and I'll pick up another lab here. I really do want to hit 6 at some point. Our decks are roughly equal. I've got a warehouse, they've got a silver, so they're going to be a little bit better at hitting 6 than I am. And they've got the 1 coffer, which I had to spend. all in all fairly equal. Yeah, so nothing's going to end up in the trash because no one's going to buy rats, because rats is worth, essentially it's worth minus 20 VP. Okay, this is 5, and I will get another lab here. Unfortunately, all this bad stuff is in my hand. And I guess we're just going to pile down the labs, which feels weird. I feel like that gives me a little bit of advantage. My warehouse is going to be able to discard estates. They had a real nice draw. They drew all their labs here. Be a little bit careful with the play order here, not to trigger a bad shuffle. I actually don't see a way to avoid it. Yeah, I don't see a way to avoid it. So pick up the last lab to prevent them from getting it. And now starting on the conquests. The conquests make the labs worse. I can also consider getting a duplicate. Is the duplicate worth it? To duplicate what? I don't know. Duchies? Can I duplicate a silver? No. So like the way you get points with conquest is you do it twice in a turn. And then you get 2 victory points the first time and 4 the second time. So you're getting 4 cards and getting 6 victory points, which is net positive, because walls minus 4. Now they have to decide, like, do they buy gold? Gold seems bad. They're just ever a touch ahead here. The same thing's going to happen again. No, okay. Discard, and I guess I'm going to start in on it. It feels weird to be playing this way, but they're certainly going to be able to draw better than me, and they may just start in on provinces. Yeah. Oops, I meant to discard there. I'm not sure why I didn't click that right. So, yeah, provinces seem reasonable. I have basically an extra silver, a silver to their gold, and a warehouse in my deck. So silver and warehouse per gold and 2 VP tokens. And now I have 3 coffers to their 2. So I've got 1 extra VP right now. They're going to go for Duchy, huh? I'm not sure that I buy Duchy being better than nothing. So am I going to have another turn of this game? I'm definitely going to have another. The game's not going to end in... Is the game going to end before if I buy an encampment, is the game going to end before I see the encampment? I do not believe that. I don't believe we can both province twice in a row. And I've got 4 labs. I can basically draw my whole deck. So I'm going to buy 1 encampment here. And if we trade provinces and then I lose, then I lose. But I am doubtful that we can both keep this up. I don't know. The Duchy line there is nice because it puts me up by 1, knowing that I have a pretty good turn and I have these 3 coffers. So they're going to province here. I'm going to trigger this somewhat bad shuffle, but it's not actually a terrible shuffle. And buy a province, and we'll see if they can draw. They can. No, okay. So they bought a duchy, and I have 8 here. I'm obviously not going to buy a province. Am I obviously not going to buy a province? So they've got 2 duchies on me. I have all my good cards next turn. They played all their good cards. So I think if I'm going to win this game, I have to buy a province here. Trust that they played 4 labs last turn, so they can't get a lab this turn. And I have all 5 labs down there. So I think I'm going to risk it, especially in that situation. I have a game to spare. So I'm pretty likely to draw through here and be able to buy a province if I don't bottom deck a bunch of labs. I have 5 cards out of 11 that are good, and I'm going to see 3 of them. Warehouse, lab, plaza, discard, and province. Okay. So that was a victory for me and for the match. We have to play one more game. I think the conquest thing was nice, and it worked out pretty well. I think my deck tracking in that estate, but I think that was kind of a randomness, the way the decks worked out, that I happened to be able to do that strategy. If they had their halfway good turn the other way around, they might have been able to win. So deck tracking is good, but somewhat shuffle luck too. All right, see you in game 6.